called Good News, Bad News by Jeff Mack to help us talk to our brains a little bit when we are feeling like something that is going on is bad news. Did you know that you can tell your brain to think differently? If you have something that is bad news, you are strong enough to actually tell your brain that it can be good news because you're a problem solver. Any bad news can be solved. So in this story, there's a little rabbit, and the rabbit is an expert at solving bad news. The rat or the mouse is a bad news kind of man. He thinks everything's bad news and he has not had enough practice at telling his brain that he can change his mind. So the rabbit is helping the mouse change its mind when there's bad news. You can do that too. Good News, Bad News by Jeff Mack. Let's see all the bad news and see how we can make it good news. Bees, yeah, bad news. Worms, you think that's good news or bad news? Probably bad news. Lightning is bad news. Rain is bad news. Bees can be bad news. How are we going to make this into good news? I just don't know. Good news, bad news. Good news. A picnic. Bad news. It's raining. Good news. An umbrella. Bad news. Good news. It's okay because the tree caught it. Bad news. Good news because we can eat those apples. Bad news. Yuck. Good news. Remember we had that picnic. Bad news. Good news. Bad news. Good news. Bad news. Good news. We can hide. Bad news. How are we going to make this into good news? Oh, good news. Bad news. Good news. Bad, 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 bad news. Bad news. Hey, I think even the mouse knows there can be good news with that sign. You know, this part makes me think. Makes me think that, yeah, maybe there can be bad news, but it doesn't last forever. It only lasts a little bit, as long as you look for good news. Good news. Very good news. Oh, now I can see how sometimes bad news would be good news. You know, I was thinking in this part of the story too, even if you have bad news, if you have somebody who can be there for you, a lot of times someone else can help you see the good news. Maybe you can help other people see the good news.